Welcome everyone to the latest talk in our panel today. We're really happy because we have Anup being able to join us, even if not live, but he's been kind enough to help us prepare this presentation for all of you. And he's going to actually talk about some really interesting community project we had last year involving OpenNebula and the ONEedge developments we've been involved in. And that's a new driver for Oracle Cloud. So we're really excited to be sharing this with all of you, and also having Anup here to explain us more details about this initiative and also about the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. So welcome to ONEedge Day, Anup, all yours.
Hey, Alberto, thank you so much. This was a great opportunity for us to work. I remember it's been almost 2 years, I guess now. We started working together around January, February last year, 2021. So before I go in, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Anup Ojah. I'm a senior manager for our Oracle Cloud Infrastructure High Performance Computing global business. So I lead a team of solution architects within Oracle, and my goal and role is to help customers understand Oracle Cloud Infrastructure when it comes to HPC workload. So, this is where I just mentioned that we started working back in January or February of 2021. We were able to build a new driver with your 5.12 version of OpenNebula. So what it provides is the community, like the research scientists, innovation labs. Now you do have access to OCI. OCI is a Gen 2 cloud, and I'll speak a little bit more on what OCI is all about. But this initiative that we did was we wrote through the open source community, we wrote a driver, and through the drivers, we are now able to provide users for OpenNebula to access to OCI. So, as you know, OpenNebula does not support OCI today. It has been supporting AWS or Azure Cloud. Now, this gives you really a great opportunity to move your workload from on-premise to any cloud. You can move your workload to AWS, you can move it to Azure Cloud, and now to OCI. All of these three clouds has their own differentiation, obviously. Based on your requirements, your workload, you have the ability now to move your cloud bursting workload. So if you have burst requirement, so let's say you have your on-premise infrastructure, you're running a workload, and now you need to burst to any of the public cloud. So you have the ability to do that. This is a more high level, but I think there's a lot of things in this slide. But two things to remember is we built two things. We built a virtualization driver, and we also did a networking driver. So what that means is you can run your workload on a virtualized environment in OCI, in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And we have also built a networking driver. So that means you don't have to do anything on your side. Everything is being done behind the scene. The plumbing has been done through the open source community, as I mentioned earlier. So it's a seamless integration between your on-premise OpenNebula and the public cloud, which is OCI in this case. Again, just to add some more history, I want to show this slide. I actually joined our cloud infrastructure 4 years back. And when I joined, we had 4 to 3 data centers actually around the globe. And today we have 37, and this is going to be 44 by the end of fiscal year 22. So this entire growth has come from customer needs, just like how we have worked with OpenNebula. So now that you have a driver, so customers are demanding that we need to burst to the cloud and to OCI. Obviously, there's a requirement why people want to come to OCI. This really help the company invest in public cloud. And as you can see on this map, we are all over the globe. So this really gives you as a user a lot of options. You can run it on any regions across the globe based on your requirements. So again, that whole driver that we did last year, it really worked well for everybody. Right now, you have a tremendous opportunity in front of you to spin up burst to any location based on what you need today. What Oracle provides, I mentioned earlier, we do have our own differentiation. We provide all the three layers, the software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. But for this session today, we're going to be focusing more on the core infrastructure, which is our compute, storage, networking, and then obviously, containers and things like that. That's what you will have access. I introduced myself also as a high performance computing solution architect. And let me give you a little bit more why this is so special, why this workload that we are running for OpenNebula and some of our key customers, why high performance computing on OCI is a differentiation. We just didn't started our cloud 4 years back, actually. We acquired Sun Microsystems back in 2010. So what that gave us, intellectual property, right? We really learned how to build infrastructure. Today, we build our own infrastructure, and we started deploying bare metal machines actually on the cloud, which is as good as your on-premise infrastructure. Along with bare metal machines, from 2017 until now, we started working with all these different partners. I would say NVIDIA, AMD, Intel. So we have all the latest and greatest cloud computing environment today to offer through OCI. And this gives you as a user access to this entire net new, cutting edge technology running on the cloud. Well, speaking of bare metal, it's a machine, right? This is bare metal machine, as I mentioned, as good as your on-premise. The goodness about this is two things. You get the entire machine. That is, you don't have any virtualization layer on this machine, and you don't have any networking layer on this machine because we have networking built on a separate node. So you as a user, when you burst from your on-premise OpenNebula through the driver that we have built to our cloud, you can get 100% utilization of this machine. So that gives the power of the bare metal, and you can run workload very efficiently to our bare metal machines. Well, it's just not about bare metal machines. We cannot just put in bare metal machines on the cloud infrastructure. We also invested heavily on the networking. If you look at this slide, it's a little bit more busy, but just to keep it very simple, research organizations, scientific community, they need a huge power of machines. It cannot be just one machine having 64 core or 128 core. We have to really scale, and that scale can go up to thousands of machines, both CPU and GPU, right? So what we have introduced is RDMA, Remote Direct Memory Access. So we have Rocky V2. What that provides is RDMA over Converged Ethernet, and we provide a 1.5 microsecond latency. That means your clusters of machines can scale across horizontally, and all these machines work together. They have 1.5 microsecond latency. So you can run really big workload, which was not seen before in the cloud, right? But we have made it possible because that's what I call the Gen 2 cloud. That's what Oracle is all about. Again, we support all the latest and greatest. So we work very closely with AMD. We have all the latest chips from AMD, so does from Intel. Our latest is the Ice Lake, and we have obviously Skylake support too. Ampere on the screen is very interesting. We are the first ARM provider in the cloud through Ampere. This particularly is not an x86 architecture. It's obviously an ARM architecture, but you do have access to an ARM architecture on the cloud today through OCI. And obviously we do support GPUs. I have one more slide that I'll talk a little bit more what GPU supports we have. We have the latest and greatest GPUs, just like, we do only run GPUs from NVIDIA today. We have the A100s. That A100 comes in the bare metal machines. It has 8 GPU, and this A100 can also scale to multiple GPUs. Like we can give you hundreds of GPUs through the RDMA networking. We do support the older generations, the V100s. You have virtual machines access. So does the P100s. They're all different generations of GPUs that NVIDIA provides, and we have been getting them in our cloud from the very beginning. You saw the early slide where I showed you the history. So we have been building the P100s, the V100s, and now the A100s. And obviously there will be more coming in the near future. This is an interesting slide. Maybe I'll get back to Alberto. He can talk a little bit more on this slide.
Yes, thank you, Anup. Yeah, I think it's great that as I said, we're really happy, and I know for a fact that there are a number of users in our community that were really happy about the possibility of using the new cloud bursting driver that you developed for Oracle Cloud. I mean, from our perspective, this is just the tip of the iceberg, let's say. So as you said, the infrastructure that's offered by Oracle in the cloud has a huge potential. So right now, as you mentioned, we're interacting with this kind of low layer of the offering, which is basically the virtual machines, the ability for an open nebula cloud to expand through this new driver and request more virtual machines on Oracle Cloud on different areas and different zones. But we see this as a very promising step in also being able to support other Oracle technologies. One of the things we did last year as well is incorporating Oracle Linux into our public marketplace. So now every single Open Nebula user can use this already prepared templates for launching the Oracle Linux 7 or 8 on their clouds. Also, one of the novelties this year is that we've published the first packages for Alma Linux as a replacement for people that were using CentOS for running their Open Nebula frontend. So given that Alma Linux and Oracle Linux are both alternatives to CentOS, also we'll be exploring how to make it even easier for people with Oracle Linux to use these new packages as well, so as an alternative for CentOS. And well, as you mentioned, Oracle Cloud infrastructure is already there at the cloud bursting level, and we'll keep new alternatives for expanding this support for other products in the portfolio. So looking forward to keeping collaborating with you guys.
Perfect. And this is the last slide, but this is the beginning where we started actually. We got a requirement from Rice University here in the US. They are an Open Nebula customer. They wanted to burst to the cloud and they wanted to burst to OCI. That's where we started writing the driver. That's where we started integrating Open Nebula to our cloud, which is OCI again. So if you're interested, there's a blog out there written by Alison Miller. It's all about what we did, how we did the work. Feel free to read it. It's just a 4-minute read for you. Well, that's it for today. Alberto, anything I missed?
Well, nothing. I think it was really complete. Thank you very much for your time and for offering us this quick review of the work you guys are doing. Obviously, the people attending this event live, you're more than welcome to send your questions through the live chat that you'll see on Swapcard. And we'll make sure that after the event, Anup is able to have a look at these questions and provide some answers and clarify some of the aspects you might be interested in after this really nice talk. So, well, thank you again, everyone, for attending, and special thanks to Anup and the rest of the Oracle team for the work you've been doing and your commitment to open source.
Thank you so much.